Mulder, look, Colton plays by the book and you don't. They feel your methods, your theories are
spooky.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Are we recording?
Yeah, right now we're recording.
Oh, let me plug my microphone back in. Like my microphone?
That works fine though.
Yeah, well, last time, you already know.
Yeah. Well, you want to know the funny thing is like there are people on TikTok and YouTube that are going back to the plug-in headphones for their iPhone because it's better to hear yourself and then physically have the mic right there. But hey, what's up? Long time no see.
I don't want to start off on a bad note, but I am so upset with you, Noel.
Dude, the entire past 2 weeks have been nothing but bad news. So let's call a spade a spade. I also want to a great friend for making
you
you watch
a toxic person for out of the blue. I was just living my fucking life, which isn't good to begin with. And then out of the fucking blue, you make me watch this shit. And you tricked me. You know why? Because the first 2 minutes, Heidi motherfucking Montag makes an appearance.
I know. Wait, hold on. We can't get into this yet.
Okay.
Pretend. It's hard because we're once again recording virtually, but we have to pretend like it's not. So, hey, what's up? My name's Noelle, and I may or may not have COVID-19.
Ooh, and hey, I'm Chelsea. I'm the perky-lipped Jesus impersonator who was on American Idol.
Is that real?
It is real.
Huh. Mm-hmm. I'll be real with you. I stopped watching American Idol after William hung back in like 2003.
Oh, no, I didn't watch American Idol. I Googled every person in this film and am now an expert on all of them.
Oh my God. I'm so glad you did that. So before we get into the actual film, what Chelsea and I watched recently, you can also watch for free on Amazon Prime Video under the name Assassin 33 AD.
Here's what so you told me to watch it, but you told me not to read anything about it.
Yeah.
So the first thing I saw, like the little tagline, because when you Google it, IMDb comes up. Mm-hmm. And that's what I saw first. And it says, while doing research, a group of young geniuses accidentally stumble upon a secret terrorist plot to create a time machine to go back in time and change history. That's all I saw.
Good.
And then back to Heidi fucking Montag. Speaking of Montag, your lips look great.
Thank you so much. I did get them injected with a full syringe for my birthday because all we do is live and die, and you might as well look good doing it.
Indeed.
Besides that tagline on IMDb, you did also get to see the movie poster with the caption, "What if the greatest event in human history was erased?" And the I'll try to describe the visual poster and then you can as well.
Yeah, you go first, yeah.
So to me, what this looks like, pretending I don't know what the movie's about and I'm just looking at this, it looks like some sort of sci-fi, like maybe like a sci-fi game that a child would download on an iPad and it's like 99 cents. That's what this cover looks like to me. I don't actually obviously because I'm not a Christian, some of the key giveaways about the scene that we're looking at don't really make sense to me. But what I see essentially is some sort of like alien-like planet beaming down on a cross. So I would think it's some shitty sci-fi, maybe video game a child would download.
So when I Googled it, you immediately caught me because what I like to do is I always read the Wikipedia before I watch a movie.
Yeah.
Spoilers be damned. And you were like, God damn, you don't read a spoiler. So I immediately stopped. I didn't even enlarge the poster.
Okay.
So I'm going to go off of what I see in the tiny little like thumbnails that pop up.
Okay.
It was very color out of space looking to me.
Yeah.
Where you have kind of like the brown and like all the earth tones, and then some sort of alien injection of like color. So I didn't pick up on any of the fucking Christian things either. I didn't even notice the crosses until now when I enlarged the poster.
Yeah.
But even then, now that I know what this movie is, I don't think it would have changed what I perceived it to be when I first saw the poster, because when you click on it and enlarge it, the tiny little crosses are bigger, but it still looks like some alien astrology bullshit.
Yeah.
I also recognize the font that they used. Because when you do a lot of graphic design like myself, you memorize the free fucking fonts you can get off of the internet, and this is one of them that I used for our Ides of March bout like 2 years ago. It's like a Roman typeface that's free.
We do love those free font downloads. I would also say this could maybe be an advertisement for Scientology as well, because upon further inspection, you see the crosses, and then because we've seen the movie now, we know that this is a POV shot from the inside of the cave in which Jesus resurrected in, and looking out onto what still there's like that beam, like that UFO beam. So I would honestly be like, is this Scientology?
It's absolutely extraterrestrial looking for sure. It's such a fucking misleading poster, because ignoring the font and the typeface, which is terrible, this looks cool. And I was really fucking excited to watch it, because I was like, what the fuck is this? I thought it was going to be like a futuristic kind of like Aeon Flux type of thing. You got me. And then I'm so fucking obsessed with the Heidi Montag thing, because
the Heidi Montag thing is, hold on, wait, before we talk, because do I want to talk about Heidi Montag. So this is a movie written by a man named Jim Carroll, and this is his storyline synopsis, just a few more sentences than the one we already saw. Extremists use a time machine to go back and commit the ultimate jihad of killing Jesus and the disciples before the resurrection. The young geniuses that created time travel must go back in time, dodge the assassins, interact with biblical characters, and make the corrections before the timeline overrides itself and starts the apocalypse.
Which I would say they should have just fucking left it of like, in my opinion, as an advertiser, which I'm not, but in my opinion, it's so much better to be like, people create a time machine to go back and kill Jesus. Because even hearing that, I'm still sold, because that's a really fucking cool premise. There's like a few comics out there. There's like Kung Fu Jesus, where it's his entire trial with Satan, and Satan is like a giant, like iguana. They fucking Kung Fu in the desert. So tight. And that premise sounded so cool. And I think the issue with that comic, which read it if you want to, I'm never going to say don't read something, but the issue with that comic and then the issue with this movie is that they're so on the nose wanting to be edgy and new, but they don't fucking push it far enough. So you're like, you're going to go try to kill Jesus, or you're going to have a Kung Fu Jesus. And then they put this flaccid wiener on the table, and you're like, I paid good money for this gigolo. And you got a boiled carrot. Like, you soft, sir.
I mean, the other thing that we should just get out of the way quickly before we talk about our favorite scenes and favorite actors, is that this movie at its core is, and this is like a completely unbiased opinion, this is just based on fact, this is evangelical propaganda.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, it is absolutely evangelical propaganda in the same way, like if you live in Utah, you'll see, like on your way to Sandy, the billboards for Mormon movies, and they have their own like production company, and they pump them out every fucking month. And you kind of have to, if you have certain beliefs, like you kind of have to have your own production company creating your own media, because everything else is a little much in comparison to what you believe in. Same thing with evangelical shit. The only difference is this is not an evangelical love story. This is evangelical propaganda to make you hate people who
Brown
practice
people.
people who practice Islam and people who are brown.
Yeah. And that sucks because like when I described this movie, it's so fucking fun. Like when you describe it, I'm like, okay, so it's all these people and you have this lead scientist and he's fucking over it because Heidi goddamn Montag died in a car wreck and he loved her for some reason. And then so he's scorned, but then he creates a time machine to go fight for the jihadists. And it's like, dude, I'm so let down because it's so fucking cool to talk about it. And then, yeah, you're exactly right. It's Christian propaganda and racist. It's actually racist
very
propaganda
racist.
slathered with butter of Christian mindset so they can be like, no, it's not. It's just a religious movie. But really, this is just racist propaganda to make people hate Muslims.
Yeah. So
more than they already do.
The TLDR quick summary, because also you cannot find a single summary of this movie online because no everyone refuses to do that.
Right.
You have two protagonists, I would say. You have the first, what's his name? Brandt, who is the first protagonist we meet, who is
Heidi Montag's husband.
Yes, Heidi Montag's husband. We get a little bit of dialogue in the beginning to let us know like what he's about. He's like ex-military.
I just really want to talk about this dialogue.
Please.
Heidi Montag. So the movie starts with him driving in the car with his wife, who's Heidi Montag. I'm fucking obsessed with this.
Her super Valley Girl accent, and then
her lip quivers, and she goes. But what's the oh my god, there's like a Kevin James movie. There's some movie where the guy, I think it's Seth Green maybe, but he's like he's like, look at this is me crying, and he's making fun of like the lip quiver. Heidi Montag does that lip quiver, and he's like, why are you crying? And then inexplicably in a British accent, like, I think Jesus has big plans for you.
And he goes, and he turns to her in his southern accent with like a drawl and goes like, oh, that British accent. And then
they get in a car wreck and they all fucking die.
Yeah.
Except for Brandt, the guy who's driving, which is real.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Also, Heidi Montag, we should also say, before she does that inexplicable cry British accent, she's talking in straight Valley Girl. She's like, and then just out of nowhere, it's the worst British accent. It's literally like, Jesus has something planned for you. And you're just like, what the fuck was that? Was that Tourette's? Oh my God. And then for a second, you're kind of jolted because you're like, what the fuck? And then he turns to her and is like, oh, I love that British accent. And
then they slam into a semi-truck and they all die.
Yeah, and just like the folds of your brain becoming smooth from listening to Heidi Montag fake a British accent for 5 seconds of no reason, you get slammed with a semi-truck car accident in which his wife and daughters die.
It's so shocking because you know the fucking car accident is coming. But at this point, I'm still digesting Heidi Montag. Heidi Montag for the fucking hills going like, I think this is such a good opportunity for you. And I think Jesus has plans for you.
Literally.
I hadn't even had a chance to unpucker my butthole. And they just fucking decimated. They are, oh, look at that. I just punched my computer. Decimated. And then it shows him in slow motion, like fighting the men who appear out of nowhere to keep him from going in the car. And he's like, no. Speaking of, once they die, pretty much little to no mention of his children who are also in the car, because it is all about his dead wife. He's like, my wife died. And you're like, did he have 2 children?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, but at the end
fuck
of the
'em.
day, they were daughters, so he
Yeah.
doesn't really care.
At the end
He's
of the day,
evangelical.
Yeah, you can produce more children.
Yeah.
You're
He
married to
can't.
your wife for life.
He can't get a new semi-British Heidi Montag wife.
No, I'm having such a good day, and Jesus has big plans for you. Oh my God, so
like,
ridiculous.
I'm so excited for our future, and I think this is a really good move for you professionally. And I thank Jesus. I can't even do it. Honestly, the talent she had to go from that accent to that accent is perfect.
I'm not even being sarcastic. Heidi Montag had the best acting in the whole movie. That's
Yeah.
for you.
She's just like, literally, she goes from the like, I'm really excited for us to like, be a hero. And you're just like, what?
Be a hero.
What the fuck? Literally.
Oh my God.
So that's our first protagonist. The next protagonist we meet, also we should say the reason why these two are the 2 protagonists we're following through the story is obviously Brant's entire family died based off of Heidi Montag's vision from God ending in her death. We can assume they were very religious. He has now denounced Christianity. He is sitting in his living room with a gun in his mouth saying, if you're real, show me a sign right now.
Yep.
And of course, nothing. And he goes, fuck you then, fuck all y'all, and then scene. So we now know that he is not just anti-Christian. Well, he's not just like no longer Christian. He's like anti-God.
Yes.
Right?
He like probably still believes in God at this point, but he fucking hates him. Hates him.
The next protagonist we have is Einstein, who is
no, not just Einstein. Ram Goldstein. Is his name.
Yeah. If we're talking about racist propaganda, how could I forget to say that they gave him the most aggressively like they're just in the writing room like, do you know any smart dudes? And they're like, yeah, that Jewish dude I went to college with.
Smart Jewish man.
So
Ram Goldstein.
Ram Goldstein goes by Einstein is his nickname. And he is your brainy scientific atheist by default because he believes in technology and science so much. Therefore, he cannot believe in Christianity.
And not just... I don't know. Ram Goldstein, and he is so ridiculously kid genius in this movie that it's literally unbelievable because they'll be like, you accidentally created a particle accelerator, and or you accidentally, like everything that he does is like on purpose accidental, where he's like, I'm so smart I can just figure it out. It's just
I tripped and fell into time travel. We should also mention that our first introduction of Einstein flexing on us about how smart he is, he runs into a girl who's also in his smart people class. Not as smart, but much more Christian. That will soon be his girlfriend.
Her name is Mary.
Yeah. Mary. Which is, call that.
Can I also, oh my God. So he asks, this was kind of cute. But he asks this girl if she's down to go on a date. He doesn't even ask that. She asks him out because she realizes that he's like the fucking nerd of her class. He like runs into her and he's like, sorry, I'm not good with people. And she's like, I find you fuckable. Let's go on a date. So not only does she come to pick him up, but Ram Goldstein reveals that they're going to have the date in his parents' unfinished basement, and she finds it endearing and not terrifying.
Yeah, and they're there for the whole time. They have a meal, they dance, they have a fashion show.
The montage of them having the best date ever in his parents' unfinished murder hovel.
Yeah, it's true. Also, he keeps with the subtle flexing. He's like, "Well, I live in the basement, but I pay for this house." Like
They live with me.
Yeah, he's so smart. He just can't even be bothered. So now we have those two people. Why do we have them? Their paths are about to cross. Brant is been hired as the muscle for this technology company, we'll say. And naturally, this technology company is hiring the best and brightest. So in that, you're going to get Ram, Mary, and their two token characters. Insert token funny black guy and insert token funny Indian dude.
And I'm pretty sure they don't even have him credited, by the way, when I'm trying to pull up people. They'll have like uncredited Roman Soldier 6, but they don't have the actors who played his actual Having Lines friends. But I'm pretty sure his friend's name, the token black guy, was named Usher in the movie. Good. I feel like they called him that, or that's his real name. And he talked in Ebonics the whole time. Yeah. He's like, Jesus, this is wiggity whack. What you saying about particle accelerator? Talk English, motherfucker. And you're like, this guy graduated from MIT as a doctorate. Yeah. And you think that he doesn't know, he can't like dissect or interpret any of the or the scientific terminology you're saying.
Yeah, literally, it's not great.
And so sorry. And the Indian guy is essentially the hacker. Also on the nose racism.
Yeah. So there's your crew. What happens? So they think that they're trying to create kind of like a particle mover, like moving matter from point A to point B physically in front of them. Everything keeps fucking up. Why is that? Oh, our good old friend Ram realizes that it's because they have to equate for time. It's blowing up because they're not equating the time that it takes to get one thing to another.
He equates for time. Normally it'd be like, oh, they must measure it. Like, that makes sense. If I want to move something from point A to point B, I need to equate for the time it would take to transfer it. He's like, he looks at it and he goes, that was like 0.087624 seconds. And that's how he fucking does it. Just by like hamming it up and guessing. Yeah. It's super important. Anyway.
Oh yeah. It's fucking delicious. I mean, he's smart. He's Ram. How could we, come on, get it together.
I'd let him ram this Goldstein.
Oh, I'm gonna kill myself.
Sorry. I'm gonna kill myself. Let me kill myself. I'll do it.
So here we are. They're also being watched and bugged because we find out through an uncomfortably long makeout scene that they are being watched by a terrorist organization. So, and this is the part where you're like, Ram, what the fuck are you doing? Because the order of operations is this. They can't figure shit out. He and girlfriend go into secret closet with no cameras to make out hard. He sees a light go off. He's weirded out by it. He plugs something in, interferes into some sort of communication line, and sees that his boss is talking to a terrorist organization. How do we know they're a terrorist organization? Oh, this stereotypical like Green Army background with like mesh hanging and like kind of looks like Osama bin Laden. And they immediately go, oh, that's so-and-so from so-and-so group.
Rashad Amir is the name of the terrorist.
Good.
And also the name of the Muslim guy that they work for is named Ahmed Akbar.
Good job, guys. Really got this one going.
Yeah.
And they act so fucking cool. If I had found out that I was in the process of working for some terrorist organization, I'd be running out of that building.
Yeah.
He just unplugs it, finishes dry humping his girlfriend for Christ, and then is like, hey, like, be cool, but we gotta, like, tell people about this.
Yeah.
Knowing this, he still goes and tests his theory.
Yeah.
He knows he's being watched. He knows the room is bugged. He knows that this organization is doing all of this recon for a terrorist organization, and he still does his experiment to see if time travel is the solution to why matter won't move.
Yeah. And he does it all knowing that he's on camera, and then the guys immediately come in.
And they're like, bro, we saw you.
They're like, oh, you invented time travel. And here's the thing. Ahmed Akbar, you find out that he hates Christians because when he was a little boy, Christians were like, what was it? No, his parents were Christian when
His
he
parents
was little.
were Christian, and his parents were beheaded in front of him because
For being Christian.
Yeah.
So he converts to Islam, which is heavily implied as a religion that killed his parents because they were in Middle East at the time.
And also, the conversation that happens in the makeout session is, I can't believe he would be working for them, especially considering what happened to his parents. And then good old Ram, being the genius that he is, just is like, well, it's Stockholm Syndrome. And then we all collectively, the characters and us, the audience, go, okay. And then we just move on.
I swallowed it like a lukewarm tater tot. I was like, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, you, congratulations though on seeing your parents being murdered and then being raised by the people who murdered your parents. And then you grow up into this giant technological conglomerate where you're like probably a billionaire. Mm-hmm. But you know what? You can't have it all. You also have to be a super racist depiction of all people who are Muslim. And you have to want to create a time machine to kill Jesus.
Of course.
Because that way, in theory, your parents never would have died. That's why he's doing it. Rather than go back in time and save his parents from being murdered, he makes the super leap. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no. I'll just kill Jesus, and then my parents never would have been Christian.
Well, you have twofold things happening. You have him both deciding that the only way to save his parents is not to go back and prevent their murder, but to prevent Christianity from even happening. Mm-hmm. And you also have him saying the resurrection, specifically, because we acknowledge that Jesus was a prophet. We do not acknowledge that Jesus was the Son of God. So the resurrection specifically is the branch off that created Christianity. If we don't have that, then we will always have Islam and everything will be good. So it's that twofold. That's the reason why he's doing it. And
he doesn't want to fuck up religion too much.
No.
He wants to fuck up
Christianity. Yeah. And he lets Ram know this, and this is why he is forcing Ram to finish the time machine.
But let me just ask you a question. And I don't, no offense to Trevor.
What?
No offense to Oliver. If somebody held a gun to your parents' head and was like, I will murder both of your parents in front of you unless you tell me what I want to know, I'd be like, fuck you, I guess I'll tell you what I want to know. I have one left. I will cut my legs off to protect, I'll give you my social security number right now if it means my dad's safe. They pull Ram Goldstein into a room because he's like, well, then I'm not going to finish the time machine. Yeah. So they get his parents and they're like, we'll kill both of your fucking parents. And he's like, kill them. They shoot his mom and his dad in the fucking head. And he's like, not building the time machine. They bring in his girlfriend of a month. A month, bitch. Yeah. And they're like, well, then we'll kill her. And he's like, no, I'll do it.
Fine, I'll do it.
Oliver, I know you listen to this podcast, but there's like a hierarchy. Mm-hmm. There's a hierarchy. And we all have to agree that Precious Amy, I'm not speaking about your dad, but I don't know him as well. But Precious Amy and Precious fucking Bruce, their hierarchy is so much fucking higher than anyone I could ever.
I'll tell you right now, if someone put your father in a room in front of me, I would be like, I'll build it right now.
Right? Yeah, same. If someone was like, I'll kill Amy unless you build this rocket so I can kill Jesus. I'm like, Jesus, my hands are tied. I gotta.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I was so got at that point when he's like, because at first I was like, dude, you're a badass. You're not fucking giving in.
Mhm.
Shoot my parents, whatever. And then 2 seconds later, they bring in his girlfriend and they kind of like shake her a little. They don't even rough her up.
Yeah.
They just shake her.
They
and
give
she's
her a
like,
little,
"Ah!"
yeah.
It's like when I stop my car too abruptly because I'm texting and driving, I get
Yeah.
more of a jostle than
Yeah.
what they did to her. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
So then he fucking does it.
Yeah, and we're also missing one of my favorite points of dialogue, which, because I was with you as well, I was like, damn, he's so fucking smart. He knows that if he goes back in time, like
Mhm.
his parents probably won't even exist. So watching
Yep.
them die in front of him is that's the
Sixes.
point. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter. And then you get the whole like him talking to the dude being like, you can't just go back in time and do that. You're gonna fuck everything up. It's gonna change things, all this shit, blah 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 blah. And basically he was also like, what if I go back and kill Hitler? And then he was like, Rams, like you can't, because who's to say
Yeah.
who comes after him isn't worse, and all this other shit, right? And you're behind Ram that like his logic
Yeah.
is sound. Like
You're like time travel 101, motherfucker. You can't
Yeah.
change you can't change shit.
You can't change if when people go back and change little things, giant things happen. You're going to go back and change giant things.
Yeah. I've seen the butterfly effect.
Yeah,
I'm
I
a
know.
fucking expert in this.
I know it.
Ashton Kutcher warned
Yeah.
us about this a decade ago.
He did, and we should have listened. And Ram listened, and he told him that. And then he watched his parents die in front of him, and he was like, "Bro, fuck you."
Yeah.
I know. And then we were like, "Yep, this dude's for real." And then they
Yeah.
bring his fucking big titty, smart Christian girlfriend in, and all of a sudden, all bets
Yeah.
are off.
Yep. He's like, I'll do whatever you want.
I'll
And I'm
do
like,
whatever.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, your parents could have lived
Mhm.
if you were just gonna fucking do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's a weird chain of events. So now what do we have? We have Ram is officially building the time machine, and you've got his girlfriend and the token friends realizing that he's gone and trying to find him. If we're to fast forward here, everyone was successful in their endeavors. Both the group of assassins, if you will,
led by Brant.
Yeah,
has a vendetta against God.
Yeah, who personally wants to kill God for killing Heidi Montag, which
Yeah.
I don't blame him. That's what makes the most sense out of this whole film.
Yes, true.
They go back and they fucking roll up on the like Romans versus Jesus and his gang scene and just start popping the fuck off.
Yeah, they go right to the night before the crucifixion to where the Romans come to lead Jesus away. And they fucking kill all of them. And they don't just kill him. Jesus kind of lives, and he walks up to him and he's like, you killed my family. And then Jesus kind of comprehends it. And all of a sudden Jesus speaks English and he's just basically like, I forgive you. And that doesn't clue Brant in, like, oh shit, this guy all of a sudden speaks English, and he's just like,
yeah,
blows Jesus away. Also, Jesus is played by Jason Castro, who was on American Idol, and I just find that really important.
That's where the reference is.
I find it so fucking important, and I don't think he was on I don't think he was on when anybody was watching American Idol. I think he was on like American Idol, like season 12.
Good. I also want to say one other thing that we missed pointing out is anytime you're in like the lab or around like the Smarties, it's just the most elementary fucking pie charts and diagrams on every screen. Also, what we're forgetting to say here is that the quote unquote special effects are so horrifically cheap and awful. I can't even express to you, every time a gun goes off, it's like it looks like you did it in MS Paint.
Yeah, it's the same free GIF PNG that any one of us could get on the internet, and then they just copied and pasted it. Like, dare I say, I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched had better special effects because they would just blink in whatever they needed. But these guys were like 1970s Star Trek, which is shitting on Star Trek, to be honest, where it's like, and then all of a sudden they blink in.
Yeah.
It was very good special effects, but also terrible.
It was rough. Also, from a quote from the scene where Brant mows Jesus down like he's a school shooter, he goes, "If you are really the Son of God, you can stop these bullets." And that is when Jesus replies, "I forgive you." And insert Columbine montage.
I was shocked. I didn't expect Jesus to get gunned down, honestly. I was like, he's going to convince him, right? Because if I went back and I was like, I too want to kill Jesus. And then all of a sudden Jesus is like, Chelsea Blimfield, what the fuck is up? And he's just like shooting the shit with me in English. And he's like, it's cool, man. Just shoot me. You know, I'd be like, maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. But he'd be like, he takes like a fucking Uzi, like Tommy gun out. And he's like, and Jesus is on the ground, also terrible, and like has his hands up, totally defenseless. It's terrible no matter how you want to paint it. And he's just like, I forgive you, Brant. And he's like,
I don't even like Jesus, and I was like, oh shit!
What are you doing?
Oh shit!
Anybody could agree that that's not a good move for anybody.
He just got lit the fuck up.
Yeah. Also, the pillowcase costumes in this movie are so fucking good. They literally took like red pillowcases for the Romans, cut out the neck and cut out the arms, and it was just like straight Party City bullshit. And the same with Jesus.
Don't even drag Party City for this shit.
No, it's true.
Party City comes out stronger. Also, I want to say that this movie came out at the beginning of this year, and I'm not saying it's the reason why we're currently in an apocalypse, but I'm also saying that's exactly why.
They made God that fucking irritated. He's gonna go the slow burn.
Yeah, it's rough. It's not great.
This movie is the seventh seal to hell.
It sure is. And watching it really hurt me. So now what, right? What we're going to see now is a back and forth blips of different timelines, different interactions with people. What I would argue is some of the most blasphemy, the biggest pieces of blasphemy done in this Christian propaganda movie are by the Christians themselves. So we have the SWAT team bringing back Jesus's body. At the same time, Ram sees it and is like, fuck this. Him and all of his friends, Scooby-Doo style, jump into the time machine to go back to where those motherfuckers just came to stop them.
This is where they break the space-time continuum because Rand escapes and then goes to warn his friends who are being transported back in time. Like, he warns them. Sorry, I gotta get chapstick loaded up.
Moisturize.
Yeah. So he warns his friends before A friends, who are the first time continuum friends, are already back in time. So then he warns his other friends that, like, we gotta go. So meanwhile, A timeline friends are already back in time. And then he tells B timeline friends it's time. And I can't remember which timeline friends all get gunned down, but there is a timeline where they all just get fucking murdered.
Yeah, there is a timeline in which all of them get mowed the fuck down. Besides one of the main Rams, because that Ram goes on to kind of carry the plot.
Also, Simon. Simon is the name of the token black character. There is a timeline where Simon sees Jesus praying, and he goes, "Yo, Jesus, no speako Greco," and then that's the scene.
Literally, it's Jesus verbatim. Praying right before the Romans come. Simon jumps in, and they have this back and forth conversation. And honestly, that was one of my favorite pieces of dialogue, was the entire conversation between Simon and Jesus, because Simon tells Jesus all that he knows about him is based off of Passion of the Christ, and he said that he didn't finish it, but that it's pretty horrific for him.
And Jesus is like, that movie was all right. literally knows what he's like talking about.
Yeah, it's so meta. It's so fun. That part, I genuinely, that was the best part of the movie for me, was their interaction. And then Jesus goes, thank you so much for what you're going to do for me tomorrow. And insert my favorite piece of actual blasphemy, which is the rewriting of one of the most telltale biblical scenes. Fast forward to tomorrow. Jesus is now walking, getting beaten and whipped with the cross on his back, while carrying it and the crown of thorns. He gets slammed on the ground, and who other than our good old buddy Simon rolls up and is like, Jesus, I know how important this is to you. Simon is in full Western 2000s clothing, pulls Jesus up under his arm and carries Jesus himself with the cross to the top of the hill in which he is going to be crucified on.
Yeah. And then like Mary Magdalene and like Mary are there, and he's like, yo, Jesus, you can get out of this. What the fuck, man? And it's like every time where they make him just speak just really racist ebonics is always in the parts where you're like,
you're like,
already?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Also, the one of my favorite time continuum is that, because there's a couple that they go back and they try different things. My favorite one was when Team Einstein takes out the SEAL Team 6 with a bunch of sticks, and they send them back with like a 4-inch log just rammed through their chests.
Yeah.
This is the timeline when they all die, except for Ram, who runs off naked.
Yep.
And then meets up with one of the apostles who's like speaking in ancient Aramaic, and Rand's just like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, I know in your heart you're a good person. And then he gives him a shirt.
Yep. That is also one of my favorite timelines as well, is when everyone dies. But Ram comes back and sees that his girlfriend is dying. She has not died like everyone else. She is dying because he has this protocol that blips people back when there's no heartbeat. So now he's running around semi-naked, wearing a sheet that was given to him by an apostle, with his dying Christian girlfriend. This timeline meets up with Simon from the first timeline, where he gets stuck and hangs out with Jesus.
And this Simon is now aware that other Simon is dead.
Yep.
So he's like, I'm tripping out. And then also fuck the other guy. Well, I know that people maybe be like, what happened to the Indian guy?
They just let him fucking die. They just said, fuck him. He dies. He dies each time. So not only did he die in the timeline where they tried to kill SEAL Team with sticks, he dies when he zooms back to the home base.
Because there's a scene where him and Simon, the two tokens, are like gonna flash back and try to fight SEAL Team 6 before they get there, and all they bring with them are sticks. They flash in the room of these fucking military guys, and they immediately kill them all. Yeah, and that's the timeline.
Yeah, except Simon is still stuck there. Yeah. His watch glitched out. He couldn't zoom back. So the token Indian guy shows up, and also they've given him some sort of weird anxiety where he has to have like a stuffed pillow penguin.
Oh, right.
That's like it's a comfort method for him. And he's like, you got to do it for your stuffed penguin. And he's like, all right. Jumps back and gets mowed the fuck down. Yeah. And then they just say fuck him for the rest. He has nothing to do with shit.
That's it. Yeah, I don't even remember his name. He's not listed in the credits at all.
Nope. Why would he be? He was there for 2 scenes. And they're racist. They don't want to give the brown dude credit. Sure. So we have Simon, like Earth 1 Simon, Earth 2 Ram, and Earth 2 dying Christian girlfriend.
Yes.
They have all met up after Jesus has just been crucified. Ram is just screaming incoherently with his dying girlfriend in his arms. Mary just so happens to stumble upon him, and he's screaming to help her, and she's like, boy, do I got the person for you. He thinks he's getting taken to a healer. It's Jesus on the cross. What happens here?
Jesus on the cross. So he's like, if you're really God, heal her. And Jesus is like, I'm dying, my dude. But the 2 guys on the cross next to Jesus, which this was I don't know if you remember Sunday school, but the guys on the cross next to Jesus were forgiven for asking for, like, they were like a thief or whatever, but it's fucking Brant on the cross with another SEAL Team 6 guy who was like the ruthless, like,
Muslim dude.
yeah, who's the red Ninja Turtle? He was the Raphael of the group. He was like, I'll kick ass and take names later.
Yeah, he was
Raphael.
The Raphael of the extremist organization. Because Brant didn't realize he was working for an extremist organization. He was just Mr. America, I hate Jesus. Raphael was military, but on the terms of the
he's like, I'm just here to kill Jesus, man.
Yeah.
They're on the cross, and Raphael's like, fuck you, Jesus, can't do shit. And then he's like shit-talking everyone while he's on the cross, and Brand's like, shut up, man. Don't you see what's happening here? And, like, you see Brant starting to struggle, and he's like, I'm being punished for being a piece of shit. And then meanwhile, Ram Goldstein's girlfriend's dying, and he's like, Jesus, heal her. And Jesus is like speaking English to him. And he still like doesn't understand that that's out of control. So he meanwhile, he finds Simon's there, token guy, and he's like, yo man, this shit fucked. And then Mary fucking Magdalene has the watch.
The time travel watch.
The time travel, Maybe we should have explained that better. They all have time travel watches.
Yeah, so the reason how they can zoom onto the platform is through a watch. So keep in mind, he's screaming at Jesus on the cross. Jesus says, like, the only way to save your girlfriend, Amy.
That's true.
The only way to save your girlfriend, Amy, is to forgive Brant, the dude sitting up next to me who fucked everything up.
And the whole time he's like, I don't understand. There's nothing to forgive him for.
Yeah, it's this, that. And then girlfriend wakes up and is like, oh my God, bring me to the resurrection site. I'm dying and I want to see Jesus resurrect. So Simon, Ram, and dying Christian girlfriend go to the resurrection site. They see an explosion happen within it. And she's like, oh my God, that's the resurrection. And Simon and Ram go, nope, that was just a time jump from a motherfucker using a watch. So they go into the tomb. They don't see Jesus's body. What they do see is a floor covered in glow sticks.
Yep.
So what does this tell us?
So what happens in other alternate timeline is Ahmed Akbar. Now stick with us. This was the main stereotype, the rich Batman who wants to kill Jesus.
Yeah, rich Muslim Batman.
Yeah, rich Muslim Batman decides, like, God damn it, I'll do it my fucking self. Once he sees all these corpses with sticks, remember, they killed a bunch of people with logs, and the logs somehow impaled them.
They did it while they were manifesting.
Yes.
So they did that.
So
makes sense.
It makes the science, god damn it. So he takes the shush kebab people, and he's like, I'll fucking do it myself.
Yeah.
So he goes back with his watch into the tomb where they bring Jesus after the resurrection, and he's like, I can't see a thing. Breaks all of the light glow sticks, and then he sees Jesus's body, and he's like, I'll just take him back when it doesn't matter anymore. Scoops up Jesus, and then gets the fuck out of there. So that's what they see, but the power of his explosion when he time jumps blasts the door off the cave, which opens up the crypt of Jesus. Also, we forgot to mention when they traveled to the future.
Oh yeah. They show a quick time travel jump to the future in which Christianity does not exist, and it is the most
it's the Matrix.
It literally is like the Matrix, but like the 99-cent knockoff green screen version.
Yeah, it's the part in the Matrix when Morpheus and Neo go into the future, and Neo's like, what the fuck happened? And the sky's all greenish gray, and he's like, the machines scorched the skies. And it's just like a bunch of buildings that have been destroyed. And he's like, what happened here? And they're like, it's a world without Jesus, but wait, there's more. They look left and they look right, and they're like, it's a world without forgiveness.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what the world is.
So we
Yeah.
get the world without forgiveness, Matrix knockoff green screen,
Yep.
and then we get the fucking Thanos snap, which we've been waiting for this whole entire time. Our first time seeing the Thanos snap is all of the SWAT team around. Simon happened to be there for this time jump, and they all do the whole like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good, and then gone, evaporated, diminished, and it's just Simon in the hellscape going, bro, what the fuck? So that happens unrelated to everything else. You have to keep in mind 10,000 different time jumps happen in this movie. Catch the fuck up.
Yes, figure it the fuck out.
Or figure it out. What I will never understand, and correct me if I'm wrong here, did Akbar, which that sucks. It sucks.
I hate saying everything about this movie.
It makes you racist. Did Muslim Batman, did he take Jesus's body from resurrecting, therefore the resurrection actually did not happen, or did Jesus vanish as well? Like, we never get clarification of that, because what happens next is Mary comes in the tomb, and Simon looks to Ram and is like, dude, remember, don't fuck up history. So with the glow sticks in their hand, they motion to the sky, letting Mary know that Jesus has resurrected. But us as the viewer who's paying attention, maybe the writers didn't figure this out, we don't know if Jesus's body vanished or if he went back with Muslim Batman. We don't know.
Total ambiguity.
We have no idea.
What I interpreted from that was, oh shit, the resurrection didn't happen. What this guy did was triggered the fucking miracle by taking Jesus back, and he's the cause of Christianity in the fucking first place.
That's what I think so as well, which again is another shade of blasphemy brought to you by evangelical propaganda.
Right, and I was like, that can't happen if this is an evangelical movie. So I was like, that can't possibly be the reason why Jesus' body disappeared. Because if that's the reason Jesus' body disappeared, then this fucking Akbar guy triggered Christianity and is on his own fucking time loop. But that can't be the case. I mean, because this whole movie revolves around the Christian
Jesus,
propaganda.
Saving Jesus.
Yeah.
I kind of believe that as well. We could just be a tiny bit smarter than the people who wrote this. So maybe it was something they missed out. Anyway, that happens. And then Mary walks over to our good buddies and is like, P.S. got you this. It's the only remaining time jump watch.
Yes, because at this point, all of their watches have been damaged.
Yep.
So they don't have any way of getting back.
Yep.
But so Mary is like, just kidding.
JK, I got you. So they jump back in time, but this time Ram understands what he has to do in a similar way of Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Terminator. He has a mission. He's going to do it no matter what. The two of them share a jump, which is sketchy, but ends up being fine. They get on the platform, and our good friend Simon is once again mowed down like he is at a high school in middle America, and the intruder alarm has gone off that there is a student on campus with a gun.
Keep in mind, it's heavily implied that he's one of the 4 smartest people in the world. And when he's dying, Rand's like, bro, we're going to go to like a frat party and there's going to be so many bitches with beer. And he's like, bitches with beer. And that's how he dies.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Einstein wouldn't say that on his deathbed. I mean, it's literally
no, but like
verbatim.
This is the part. So they jump on the platform. They start fighting back. Unfortunately, Simon is the one who takes the most heat here. Our good friend Ram dodges the bullets like he is Neo, and but they've cleared the room for a brief moment. So Simon is now in a chair. Ram says, I'm jumping back one more time. Blow that bitch up the moment I'm gone. He notices that Simon is dying. He has a moment with him where he says, I bet in heaven there is a frat party for you with a bunch of beautiful women and lots of beer. And Simon goes, beautiful women and beer. And he slowly dies. Ram jumps on the platform just in time for our good friend Muslim Batman to show up. Simon does, by I would assume that they're implying some sort of miracle, shoot the time jump machine. He's like dead, but still pulling the trigger. And then a Muslim Batman walks up to him and mows him down like he's Tony Montana. And now we've got God knows what version of Earth 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ram is essentially the only surviving motherfucker who knows what the fuck is up. He time jumps back to right before shit hits the fan, unrelated to Jesus, related to them and the time machine.
Right before they kill his parents.
Yeah, right before they kill his parents.
Yeah.
He saves his parents from being killed, and then he's like, I'm coming after you, motherfucker. Muslim Batman runs into his office. Muslim Batman pings for Brant, who is Jesus-hating military man, Mr. USA, former Christian.
Heidi Montag's husband.
Yeah, former Christian, current widow of Heidi Montag. And those two have a standoff in the office of Muslim Batman. And our good friend Ram is now having a literal come to Jesus moment because he knows that this is his only chance to fix everything. And what I would argue is the best scene of the entire movie follows in here. So we have we'll just say Earth 4 Ram in his Jesus garb, essentially sobbing to Brant from Earth 1, who has no idea what the fuck is going on.
Right.
Being like, you killed my parents and you killed my girlfriend and I forgive you. And Brant goes, bro, I'm going to be real with you. I have no fucking idea what you're doing. I have no idea what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah. The whole time Brant is like, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah.
And just is like looking around like John Travolta.
But it does trigger Brant being like, I have been waiting for one single person to ask me how I'm doing. And the answer is not well. And he goes on to say, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I did do that because lately I've been a piece of shit. And then Ram is on his hands and knees saying, I forgive you. I get it. I forgive you.
Right. But what happens is fucking Muslim Batman comes and shoots Brant.
Yep.
Out of the fucking blue. And Brant is on the ground and they're like, he can't move. And then he's like, and then Muslim Batman is like, I'm going to kill you, Ram Goldstein. I'm going to kill your parents.
You're skipping in order. Okay. Wait.
Okay.
Hold on.
Sorry.
The order of who gets shot is important in this one scene one scene only. So Ram and Brant are having this back and forth. Ram's parents just happen to show up as well and be like,
cowering in the corner.
They're like, what do you need us to do? Oh, nothing. You brought yourselves to a gunfight. Bad call. And then Muslim Batman shows up, and Ram is like, basically incoherently still apologizing to Brant. And then he goes, I hear a woman's voice. Ram says, I hear a woman's voice. And because
we don't know what he hears.
We don't know what he hears. And then he's like, I'm getting interference. Someone is talking to me. And he just goes, he looks at Brand and he goes, be a hero. And Brant looks back at Ram and goes, British accent. And then Ram goes, yup.
Be a hero.
And be a hero. And then Brant starts mowing those motherfuckers down because that is the message from God he has been waiting for this whole fucking time, is Heidi Montag's beautiful British accent to come from the heavens above and guide him to the light again. And it did, but in the process, he gets got.
He does get got.
Batman. And he's like, bro, I can't feel anything.
And he's like, roll me over. I can't move.
I can't move. But everyone has been taken down now. He's been shot. His good guy cops roll in and are like, oh shit. He's like, guess what? call the FBI. I can't feel my back. Also, this guy's a terrorist. And
yeah, that was another thing. The whole time, Brant is like, I'm going to build... It's such a throwaway line at the beginning of the film. Brant's like, I'll work for you, Ahmed, but I want my own team here. So Ahmed says, okay. So then all these other dudes who run in, he's like, oh yeah, this is my team that I casually mentioned at the beginning of the film. Meanwhile, they're supposedly in this office and all this shit is going down. And the second Brant's like, help! Then his team walks in, implying that they had just been waiting outside the whole fucking time.
They heard bullets flying and they weren't having any of it. They were perimeter cops. They were not the force. So this happens. Also, girlfriend has escaped. She is now holding a dying ram in Jesus sheets. He's evaporating. Earth One Ram, Earth One Simon, and Earth One token Indian guy that they don't credit roll up, and she's like, what the fuck? And as she looks back in her arms, that version of Ram has disintegrated. And here we are, everybody. All of the stars have aligned. This is what we were waiting for. Jesus had a plan the whole entire time, and this was it. Ram goes, do me a favor, pull up your Bible app. She pulls up a Bible app, which again looks like it was made on MS Paint. And he goes, read me this line. In this line, she reads to him about how a man in a cotton t-shirt saved Jesus. Ram goes, we did it.
That was... Yeah, they rewrote the Bible.
They rewrote the Bible on so many different occasions. And just when you thought the movie was over there, we get to see Brant, a paraplegic, sad, still being like, Jesus, I did so much for you. What the fuck? And then we flash over to our intelligent Scooby-Doo gang. And they're like, guess what, Brant? Christmas has come early. Flash to a 2-second sequence of Ram appearing in front of the car right as Heidi Montag goes, be a hero. Be a hero.
Last minute, Brant looks up, sees a guy holding a stop sign, slams on his brakes, guy disappears. I don't know if you caught this, but when Heidi Montag and co run out of the car, Spencer motherfucking Pratt, Heidi Montag's husband in real life from Hills fame, runs out and goes, is everyone okay?
No, he didn't. I missed it. I'm gonna have to rewatch the entire fucking movie now. I'm gonna have to rewatch the whole fucking movie.
Motherfucking Pratt, Heidi's husband from the Hills, is like, is everyone okay? And then that's his thing. And then they pick up the stop sign, and she's like, Heidi Montag pulls a note off of it. Do you remember what the note said to him?
It just said, like, be a hero, call the FBI.
Yeah, that's it. And she's like, who's Ram Goldstein? And he's like, Ram Goldstein, pulls off his glasses. Kid genius. And it's like, how the fuck does Brant know this in the alternate reality where his wife doesn't die?
Yep, and then that's it. And then end scene.
That's it.
And we all are dumber for it.
Yeah, you told me to watch that, and I texted you, and it was over, and I was like, Noelle, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Let me give you some stats, though. Rotten Tomatoes gives this a 73%. IMDb gives it 3.5 out of 10. 44% of Google users liked it, but the audience is rating it 2.3. I'll just read you the first audience review that I can see here. Very hard to watch. This so-called scientist speaks in a manner that displayed very poor vocabularies which don't coincide with studious personalities, which are the result of higher education. Along with the huge lack of intelligence, what this script brings to the table is very difficult to sit through, as the actors are grade school caliber. I've seen better high school plays. Past all of that, The World Without Forgiveness and A Christian Army to Defeat Germany, would be very different, as logic alone would take a much longer time for man to develop the mindset that living peacefully and forsaking our selfish nature is the best way to live. But the dialogue in this movie is so poor and the actors are so unbelievable that only dedicated Christians will be able to sit through this awful movie to its conclusion and thus see the point of it. If it was done well, it may have been a powerful message, but I had to force myself to finish it. In fact, I was doing other things while only listening to it, because when I tried to actually watch it, all I wanted to do was turn it off. 0 stars.
That's fair. Yeah.
And then wait, let me give a unbiased 5-star review.
Ooh.
My whole family enjoyed it, even my atheist daughter. Definitely not the classic Christian movie, but it kept us glued to our seats, made us laugh a lot, jump at times, and at the end, made us think, what if? Despite some of the negative critics I read, I still believe it's a good way to let Jesus be known. Give it a chance. 5 out of 5 stars.
I mean, it's not even like a subtly racist movie. It's Ahmed Akbar versus Simon, who talks in only Ebonics, which is fine. You know,
Yeah.
I hope that my interpretations of Simon, that's literally how they make him act.
Yeah,
in the movie, which is so ridiculous.
It's really hard for us to try to encapsulate the synopsis of this movie without accidentally also sounding racist ourselves, but that is just us directly quoting it.
It is. These are direct quotes. I have the quotes pulled up on my computer with screenshots. It's problematic because where it could have been a fun movie if it wouldn't have been so religious, because there's parts where like Ram is like trying to like help his girlfriend by like taking off his pants and like tying a tourniquet around her stomach. And he's like, you're gonna die. And she's like, don't worry about me. And then the camera zooms in and she like looks into the camera and she's like, worry about Jesus. And it's like, God, at least put like an 80s guitar riff in there.
Yeah.
The movie takes itself seriously, but it's so stupid. It's just stupid.
What this movie reminds me of is a worse The Room. Because you have someone who is taking themselves so seriously, just like Tommy Wiseau, but it doesn't have like the funny like zingers, like because at the end of the day in this movie, Jesus has seen the Terminator and Passion of the Christ. So it plays on the lines of what is meta. And because of that, you don't get the pure guttural laughs that The Room gives you. You get this is unfortunate. Not only is this evangelical propaganda that is all just racist, they're trying to be cool.
Yeah, especially because Jesus is like, looks into the camera. I'll be back. And you're like, that's from the Terminator. What's up, Jesus? And then, it's, I don't know, man. I loved this movie. It was awesome. But, like, they literally could have inserted any fucking character and it would have been the same movie because it was so stupid. It's one of those, it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like you have to watch this movie.
Everyone has to
about it.
Yeah, everyone needs to watch this movie because what this reviewer named Liam gave it, a confusing low-budget disaster, nothing but incompetence on display with the occasional unintentionally funny moment. This movie is a facepalm for me. What a crazy disaster. I can't believe I'll never get this time back. And I think that's it. I think if you were confused by us talking about it, good. So are we. And the movie is confusing. If you felt like there were really racist moments that made you uncomfy, good. That's what you should feel because that is what this movie actually is.
Yeah, and you really delayed me watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And finishing season 1 with this movie. I've subsequently finished it.
Good. I'm glad you made this up. I'm glad you had some redemption because after watching this movie, my own loving partner, who apparently cares about me so deeply, sat me down and forced me to watch a movie from 2010 or 2011 called Rampage, which is a POV.
The gorilla movie?
No, even better.
What?
This is, before that, this is a POV perspective of a mass shooter. It is Nope, it is bad. It is the worst thing. I couldn't even finish it. He fell asleep in the middle of it, and I was like, well, I'm not going to make myself suffer. This is fucking garbage. It is nothing but a love letter to Dylan and Eric from the Columbine shootings. It is fucking horrific. Do not watch it, but it is also on Prime if you want to. Yeah, so anyway, really glad we got to get together and review really great films such as Assassin 33 AD. I hope that Heidi Montag receives some sort of
The accolade she deserves.
Yeah, she really does.
She deserves.
She carried the entire 1 hour and 40 minutes of this movie with her 15 seconds of dialogue right in the front, and for that, she is braver than the Marines.
Fuck, that's so succinct and accurate. I have nothing to add other than hail being a hero.
Be a hero.
Hero.
So yeah, everyone go watch this. That's basically it. Please remember that it's racist and don't blame us, blame the Christians. Hail Satan.
Hail Heidi Montag.
True.